Yep, use your problem. Somebody set this thing to evil. Here's your look at new Jakks Pacific, the Simpsons talking Krusty doll. Standing at 18 inches tall, the talking Krusty doll is made with a soft body and sculpted, detailed head, and is inspired by his look in Treehouse of Horror 3 Clown Without Pity. Krusty features 2 modes of play and is activated with a good-evil switch on his back. He includes a pull string feature with classic phrases both good or evil, depending on the mode selected. Now, if we can only get the toaster that's been laughing at him, I see potentially the best Christmas present for 2024. While I'm giving free ideas to Jakks Pacific, we can certainly, though, in the meantime, look at the doll that's been trying to kill him. Now, I've got the evil Krusty doll displayed right now, propped up using a clear stand. One is not included, though, with the doll, but it just makes things a whole lot easier for the reviewer behind the camera to be able to talk about him without having to reach around the camera to hold on to him. The lower half of his body is pretty soft. He's filled with stuffing, but then the top of his head is all molded in plastic. So really, you can kind of put the two together and understand how hard it is for this guy to always be able to stand freely on his own. I hate to be the bearer of bad news so early into this review. In fact, I actually got 2 bits of bad news. Wow, way to start on such a low. The first one is that I ordered this from Entertainment Earth for $39.99. No, that's not really the bad news. The bad news is that they have since sold out of it, and right now it's on a back order. If you guys are still interested and would like to get it from Entertainment Earth for $39.99, you can certainly click the link down below in the video description. The other little nugget of bad news is that my tape measure is currently in the shop. It either can be repaired or replaced. I think it's probably going to have to be replaced. Speaking of replaced, though, one couldn't help but notice this is the second toy company that has produced an evil Krusty doll. I'm going to carefully slide over this one because I don't want him to fall over, and I'm going to bring in the original one we got from Playmates Toys. Now, you can look at the 2, and this one also is a lot taller from the one that we get here from Jakks Pacific. This was a find for the time, a stand-in Krusty doll that I had in my collection for a while. But now seeing him, and now going back and looking at him again, I couldn't really help but notice Jakks just looks much better. The hair is a lot shorter, obviously, here on the one that we got from Playmates. The face is fine. It doesn't have maybe as much of a fang kind of for teeth as what we get for Jakks. And it did also still have, like Jakks, the audio clips. You just pull the cord on the back.
Sir, are an idiot.
And, the audio is still fine. It's held up well over the years. Again, I don't think I'm going to necessarily replace him, but I think now that we see a better looking one from Jakks Pacific, I might maybe just retire this guy away in the closet for now. And another thing that Jakks did really well was the way they packaged their talking Krusty doll in a box that looks very much like the box that Homer buys from the merchant. In fact, the only thing that's really missing right now is a free Frogurt with your choice of topping. Maybe stay away from the Frogurt. It has potassium benzoate. Yeah, I really like the look of this box. The only thing that Jakks obviously had to put in there, they're the toy company responsible for making this after all, is if you look at the bottom corner of the box, there is the Jakks Pacific logo. But I have to give it to them. It's such a small font. They had to put it somewhere. They put it at least in a small enough space that it doesn't look like it takes over the box. The front window, if you obviously wanted to have your Krusty doll always stored away in the box, you'd still be able to look out the front of the window. The side of it does have talking Krusty doll. And even the one thing I like on the back is that, much like in the episode, down below there's the little problem call 1-800-DON'T-SUE. That's what Marge obviously wants to call to let them know that the doll is trying to kill her husband. And of course, she then has to listen to the elevator music, Everybody Loves a Clown. Just before we actually move the box out of the way, one thing I did also want to mention too, when you're taking the Krusty doll out, I'm going to just take this guy off his stand for right now. He has a little pull cord, obviously, the little ringlet here. When you get this is hanging outside the box. This is just so that obviously you can try the evil Krusty doll whenever you want. If you're removing him though from the box, you want to make sure though that you take the ring and you tuck it into the box first. When I was trying to pull the Krusty doll out, I noticed that something was kind of snagging it. Then I looked at the back and I realized that the cord was still hanging out. It's too large, obviously, to fit in the hole on its own. So you want to kind of make sure you guide it in there just so that when you're, again, fishing the Krusty doll out, it doesn't snag this and it doesn't potentially rip the cord. Now I'm going to move the box out of the way, and also probably I can move the display stand out of the way because it wasn't included with this. Now the Krusty doll though does have a try option, and it does have the main on option. It's one thing to make sure that you want to switch this over to on, because if you don't, it's only going to cycle through 3 audio clips. All you have to do is kind of lift up the back of his top, open up the compartment down below here. It's just on Velcro, and there's a try setting over here, and then there's the on setting here. If you switch it always, or if you don't if you don't remember to do this, and you always have this on try, again, you're going to be asking yourself, well, how come he's only going through 3 audio clips and not more? So you want to make sure you switch it to on. The batteries, by the way, for this are, I believe, LR44s. They're already included, so you don't have to worry about those at all. So just close up down below. And then, of course, you got yourself the pull cord. But the other obvious thing that you want to make sure that you have, too, is switching this guy to good. Right now, I've got him switched to evil. In fact, there's Velcro on the top, there's Velcro on the bottom. If you undo both, you can see he's got a good setting and an evil setting. What sick mastermind at a toy factory decides they want to switch it to evil or good? It should always really be on good. The good looks good. I mean, other than just a little bit of threading. We'll just move that out of the way. And if you want to switch it to good, we'll maybe start that off first. Now, again, if you have this on try, doesn't matter what setting you have this, it's always going to cycle through the same audio clips. So with good, now you can pull the cord and it's going to go through all the good sayings. Then you switch it to evil, you're going to hear all the evil stuff in a sec. I guess maybe before we do that, let's just kind of close up his shirt. Sometimes the shirt does snag itself just because the Velcro on the side of it. We'll just kind of close it up for right now. I'm not doing it completely because I know I'm only going to be coming back to it in a second. Getting, though, a closer look at his face, much better of a Krusty doll, honestly, than we got from Playmates. You guys want to see that Krusty doll again? Okay, all right. Here's the one we got from Playmates before. It's a much smaller face, first of all. And I think, like, proportionately, he fits better to the size of his body. This Krusty doll had the head way too big, I feel. I like the colors, I think, a little bit better. Obviously, though, on the Jakks, the hair looks very much more cartoon accurate. Much shorter hair on the one from Playmates. I never really noticed it before. I really thought it looked a lot like the cartoon, but apparently it doesn't. Even like the coloring of this area right here is more of like kind of like a pinkish color, where the original one from Playmates had it all pretty much more in a yellow color. So like, if you're looking at this and you want it as screen or TV accurate as possible, Jakks is definitely the better way to go. For the rest of his body, though, I've already mentioned, like, his body is pretty soft in material. It's like the equivalent of like a stuffed animal. So pretty soft in the arms, soft in the hands, his stomach as well. Short of maybe just the audio clip box on the back. The audio box is about the only thing that adds a little bit of density to it. Other than that, he's pretty squishy. Squishy down below here as well. His feet do have at least like cardboard, it seems, built on the bottom of them. So it does give him a little bit of way to stand. But a lot of times you'll see, like if you're putting this guy down, he either will want to lean back or he'll either want to fall forward. So you may want to even have this guy propped up against something. Every once in a while I can get this guy to balance. But as you can see, he falls over very easily. Face sculpt, fantastic. Again, I like the proportions of this guy. I like that he's also smaller than Playmates. I feel like the Playmates Krusty the doll was maybe a little bit too long. This one, I think, is just the right size. Okay, so let's go ahead and go through the audio clips here. So right now, I've got this set to good. I probably should have maybe started things. If it wanted to be like Clown Without Pity, I probably should have really switched this to evil first. But we're going to start on a good note. So we're going to pull the cord here on the back. And
I love you, Homer. Here you go, buddy.
Audio is nice and clear. It's very easy to make out. The speaker, I would imagine, is still built in underneath all of this, but it's still loud enough that you don't have to worry about. Sometimes when you do get things that are audio clipped like this, the sound sometimes sounds muffled because they're also not relying on the old system of pull strings. It doesn't have to pull back like essentially a spring and then unravel it. So you sometimes have those fast talking characters that sound squeaky over time. Because this is also using batteries to power this, it's always going to sound clear no matter what. So that's the first one. That's still one of my favorites.
Here, let me get that for you. But coming home to you makes it all worthwhile. Yeah, he buried me a couple of times. I'm Krusty the Clown, and I love you very much.
And you can already see, like, that's a lot of clips just for the good alone. Before we switch this bad boy to evil, there is one problem I had with my Krusty the Clown doll, and it's right here. I've got a few little marks on his hair. I've tried rubbing this off, but I think there's just, maybe it's just paint buildup. Maybe I can actually wipe all of this off now. I noticed, though, getting out of the packaging, like he had all these spots all over him, a few little scratches and stuff. Maybe they're not actually scratches. Maybe they're just like left behind paint. Yeah, these ones aren't coming off as easy. The ones on the front, I was able to rub them off completely. So you may want to just kind of double check your Krusty Clown doll just to make sure that, you know, there's not like little rubbed areas or little paint defects or anything like that. But yeah, it looks like maybe it's just a few left behind here. I don't know if I'd be able to take a solvent or something and try to remove that. Just a few little dots. Other than that, a little bit better than it was before. So let's switch this bad boy over to evil. So what we're going to do, though, on the back is obviously to evil. We're going to switch the setting up. Now all the good stuff that he's going to be saying is going to be replaced by very evil things instead. I'm going to pull the cord again.
Guess who, fat boy? Yeah, you stupid idiot. You think your dirty socks can stop me? Well, they are making me dizzy. I'm Krusty the Clown.
I'm also doing this as well to show you guys that you could interrupt the audio too. It's not one of those cases where you have to wait for the audio to fully play itself out before you can jump to the next one. At any point, if you don't like that one, you can easily switch to the next one instead. One thing I really do have to commend Jakks Pacific for is not only giving us a better looking Krusty Clown doll, but also too that the audio clips that they chose aren't being censored. One of the things I did notice, though, with Playmates is that they, especially for like the bad audio clips, like all the evil stuff, they seem to really censor a lot of what we were getting, though, in those audio. And a lot of it really wasn't as fun as some of the stuff that he would actually say in Clown Without Pity. Jakks, though, on the other hand, seemed to have no real concerns necessarily that they had to make things sensible. The fact that he would say things like that. The only thing that I have noticed that both companies have omitted, and maybe I haven't gotten to that audio clip yet.
Yeah, you stupid idiot. I'm Krusty the Clown, and I don't like you.
Yeah. The one thing I haven't noticed that this Krusty Clown doll actually says is, I'm Krusty the Clown, and I'm going to kill you. I can understand that under that certain circumstance that maybe saying kill you is probably not the best thing to have used, but I mean, all the other audio clips from that classic cartoon episode is all still here. And there's a lot of them. I mean, you heard me cycle through all of them. You get all the audio clips from good. You get most of them really all from bad. The only one, again, like I've noticed that he doesn't say is I'm Krusty the Clown and I'm going to kill you. You, Homer Simpson. Other than that, though, I really like the look of this Krusty the Clown doll. Now, this one also is beneficial, too, for collectors that didn't get the chance to get the original Playmates one. I'm going to just slide this guy over. Is he going to stand? He may not even be able to stand. He is also one of those instances, too, like with the original Krusty the Clown doll, a lot of times I usually just had him sitting down. His legs were soft enough, at least, that I could kind of just have him laying down like this or sitting down like this. This one, you can't really bend the legs. The legs aren't really like soft enough that you can start moving them. Oh, I don't want to knock this guy over. The legs aren't though soft enough. You can't really have him sitting down. I guess you can kind of just have him propped like this. But he probably would be a better one to kind of standing upright. Between the two, obviously, I think, like, if you haven't already noticed this, Jakks Pacific, I think, produced a better-looking evil Krusty the Clown doll. Whether you want to have him evil or not, this one, again, like, has started to show a little bit more age. He's got a few little scratches and stuff all over his eyes just because of the way I've stored this guy away. But I might just end up storing this guy away just because we got now a better one from Jakks Pacific. I don't think, again, I would have done anything really necessarily different. The one audio clip that I've noticed was omitted in this is one of the audio clips that, goes with the territory. I can understand why a toy company can't insert the audio of I'm Krusty the Clown and I'm going to kill you. Short of that, though, he does everything audio-wise that he did in the episodes. And being a big fan of Clown Without Pity, one of my all-time favorite Simpsons Treehouse of Horror episodes, had to get this one in my collection, and I'm happy that I did. Aside from leaving out the obvious clip of I'm Krusty the Clown and I'm gonna kill you, one of the things that Jakks also did leave off with their release for smarter reasons is that they don't have a knife for him to wield. I can understand why. But he does everything else that he would have done in Clown Without Pity. Whether you switch this guy to good or you set him to evil, the one thing you will want to make sure that you set him to first is on. Because if you don't, and you always have him on try, it doesn't matter whether he's on good or evil, he's going to cycle through the same three phrases. I'm saying that from example. I did that the first time and I couldn't figure out why. Like, he must do more than just three phrases. Then this dummy realized I had to set this guy to, you had to set this guy to on. But nice looking Krusty the Clown doll. One thing I really like too about this one is that he's shorter. He feels like he's better proportioned and he looks like he's the right size to the way he looked in the episode. The larger one from Playmates was a fine one we got at the time, but he's a much larger figure. He's a little floppier in the legs. He's probably going to be retired, though, in the closet. I'm not going to get rid of him. Not going to get rid of him because there's the nostalgic that goes along with this. I still remember where I bought him. I got him at a comic book store. I paid probably like $30 or something for him. Doesn't matter. He's probably going to be put away, at least in the closet, for the much superior looking one we get from Jakks. Now, again, if you guys are interested to get this one for yourself, Entertainment Earth, at least right now, has him on a back order. It's not to say that he's completely sold. Well, I guess he is sold out. Doesn't mean that you can't get your hands on him. You can click the link down below in the video description. You can still use the option of Entertainment Earth. It just means that you might have to wait a little while before the stock is available. What do you guys think of Krusty the Clown? Let me know down below in the comments section. What's your also all-time favorite Treehouse of Horror? I know we're kind of getting out of the way of the Hallows season, but it's not to say that we can't still have fun talking about Treehouse of Horror. What's your favorite? Is it Clown Without Pity? Perhaps if it is, you may want to get your hands on the evil Krusty the Clown doll. If you guys did enjoy this video, do it a solid, throw it a like. You guys want to stick around for more so? I hope so. Hit the subscribe, turn on that bell, and of course come back. Come back. As always, thanks for watching. See you guys next time.